Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Real Talk with Ben podcast here. And I'm so glad you decided to tune in today, wherever you are or whatever you're doing. I'm so glad you took some time out of your day just to listen, to maybe be encouraged, and hopefully that today you might understand a little bit about what I do, but also maybe encouraged to really enjoy what you do and to not quit on something just because people say you probably shouldn't continue. And if you're new, my name is Ben, and this is my podcast where I talk about life, I talk about ministry, I talk about life in Hungary, I talk about basically anything that comes into my heart or on my mind, and hopefully I glorify God while I'm doing it. I hope you decide to stay around. I'm sorry about that. I hope you decide to stay around and catch some more episodes here in the future, or maybe go back and listen to some old ones. But either way, I'm so glad you're here, and let's get into it. So yeah, to be honest, leading up to recording this, which if you watch my Friday recaps, you'll realize that I'm recording 2 videos and save it. It's a long story. Other than that, I really hope that, I don't know where I was going with that, Ben. But no, what I was trying to say is that, leading up to this, I was trying to think about what do I want to talk about? What are some things that, I wanted to share? And it was weird. It was actually, as I was thinking about, just ministry here and, maybe some of the things I've been dealing with, or, obviously I do videos basically for a living, I guess you could say, at least while I'm here in Hungary. And so it's fun. I enjoy it. And I will say with working here at Word of Life, and especially since I've kind of done most of the video editing and really taken that over, it's caused me not to have as much, creative flow in my own videos. As you can probably tell, I'm down to 1 podcast episode a week. I'm down to just doing my Friday recap, maybe a video here or there, right? So I get asked this question, and people know I love making videos. I love doing this. This is something that I have a passion for. I see the need. I see the ministry of it. And so I get this question a lot, and I'm going to be honest, I ponder this question a lot. I ask myself this question probably more than I think people ask me, and it's this: why do you keep making videos and creating podcast episodes if you don't get many viewers, if you don't get many listeners, if it just seems like it's maybe even going downhill at times? I get this question, and it's a fair question. People might think like, are you wasting time? Like, why are you doing this, right? And I think the simple answer is this: I don't know. If I'm honest with you, the simple answer is I don't know. But in all seriousness, the long answer and the true answer is this: I do this because I love ministry. I love ministry. This is ministry. But also I love doing this. I love making videos. I love, maybe even if it's one person, I love making that person smile, maybe encourage them in the day. If I have 1-2 viewers, then it's good enough for me, right? But I go back to that ministry aspect, and I think a lot of people maybe think that maybe what I do is not ministry. Some might even think that it's just a hobby, right? But I want to pose this question. Some people, they collect Legos, right? That's a hobby. They collect cars. They play church league softball. Or they do different things that they enjoy. And to many in the outside world, it looks like, why are you keep doing this? What's the point? What's the benefit, right? Well, if you do anything with the gospel in mind, it can become ministry. I'm going to repeat that. Anything you do with the gospel in mind can become ministry. For me, I know I talk about a lot from the beginning, last week. I think it's a great connection into last week's episode when I talked about how I started this whole YouTube journey, and which really became about an experience journey, when I lost my grandfather. I lost my grandfather, and for me, it was something that was very hard to deal with. But it became in doing this. So yeah, I might make a lot of videos, and especially over the past year, I've made a ton of videos. Obviously, the podcast became really a thing, right? And sometimes, yeah, I'll go onto YouTube. I'll go to the YouTube studio, and it'll be like, you're down 200% in viewership. Or I'll see that subscriber number at 145, right? And I'm guaranteeing about maybe 75 of those are the only ones that watch. And it's very easy for me to get discouraged. It's very easy for me to go, why am I doing this? Because at the beginning, when I started this journey of doing videos and things like that, originally, obviously, it was just to cope with the loss of my grandfather. But as I started enjoying it, especially as I started it back up in May of 2019, I thought of becoming a big YouTuber. Those thoughts come in your head. But I soon was humbled when, I looked at my first couple of videos and there was, 15, 16 viewers. And I was reminded of something. And it's something that I think is so key. And it's a video that I saw. And my first video at the time when I was looking at it, I'm sure it has more now. The first video that I made in 2019 when I started back up YouTube had 19 viewers, right? Or 16 viewers. And I remember actually very shortly there before, or I think it was before that, I'd watched a video by a young man that was a valedictorian, I can't say that word, whatever that word is, really smart guy, graduated top of his class at King's Academy in Florida. You might have seen this video. And he talks about living, or like remembering that there will be a 16th second or something like along those lines. The idea, though, that he worked so hard and he just was striving to be the best, right? He wanted to be the top. When he found out, he wanted to be the top. He wanted to be the best. And he talks about how for 15 seconds, it felt great. For 15 seconds, it was the best feeling in the world. But then he said it hit the 16th second. The 16th second of, that's it? There's nothing else? And he goes on in this video to talk about how he wasted so many friendships, wasted so many opportunities and times because he focused all on this one thing. And for me, I remember watching that as I was graduating college, because this is right when I was graduating college. And this kid's graduating high school, and he talked about how, this kid was going on he got a full ride scholarship. He was going to be successful. And he talks about how he focused on this. He said, we haven't wasted our 16th second yet. He was talking about how they were just through high school. They hadn't made any real big mistakes. That would be just life deterring. He talked about how, maybe he didn't hang out with his friends enough. He'd rather that than and learn this lesson rather than when he was 50 years old and realized he wasted time with his family so he could make more money, become a professional athlete. And he went on and on and on. And I sat there and I remember after that first video I released thinking, I'm going to do videos for a living and I'm going to do this. I had 16 viewers, and I thought it was kind of ironic that I watched this video not too many weeks before. I had 16 viewers, and I think I knew 14 of the 16 probably. And there was part of me that said, Ben, you should quit. You're never going to make it, right? But I was reminded of this video, the idea that there will be a 16th second. But it's what you do in those 16 seconds. It's what you do. It's what that mentality is. So that way the rest of that time is fruitful. And so that was the mentality of it. I wanted to create something that was about me, that was going to make me rich and famous. But as I saw those 16 viewers, I realized that it's not the number, it's the purpose behind it. So then from that time on, I remember I was just creating videos for people to laugh at, for people to enjoy, maybe people to ponder questions. It's what led me into starting a podcast and talking about things. So the Bound experience is not something that is based off of the number of subscribers I have or the number of listeners I have on Spotify. Bound experience is something that I started because I was struggling through something, and it was my way of coping with it, but I was also using God's given talents that God's given me to further his kingdom. And so the reason why I wanted to talk about this today was because I get this question so many times. And I think a lot of times I push it off and I just kind of say, I get that, but I just love doing it. And it's true. I love doing this. I love making videos. If one person watches, that's enough for me. But I think I never really realized until I started seeing how a podcast for World Life Hungary has really helped the youth of Hungary learn more about the gospel, and how doing video has become a primary learning source for so many people. And it started clicking in my head that this is a ministry. This is something that I can do for the rest of my life. And so I guess to answer that question, it's simple. I am going to do whatever I'm doing for the glory of God and the testimony of Jesus Christ. So for some, there's a stupid gnat. I'm sorry. So for some, it might be, I'm going to kill this gnat. I got it. I killed it. Sorry. I'm so sorry. Probably, that was a loud boom and audio. Sorry. Anyways, getting back to it, Ben got distracted by a gnat. But no, in all seriousness, whatever you're doing, maybe you're a teacher, maybe you enjoy collecting baseball cards, maybe you enjoy, repairing cars, or, redoing furniture, or farming, or whatever. There are going to be people that come and ask you, why do you keep doing what you're doing? This is not lucrative. This is not making you a lot of money. And yeah, maybe you'll just answer with, hey, I just enjoy doing it. And that is totally fine. I'm not saying that you can't enjoy it. But I think we need to think of the question of, are we doing it truly for God's work? Right? I had to rethink about how I did all my videos, because my mentality going into videos before I realized the 16th view, I was just about myself. It was just about, how can I become famous? How can I get 1 million subscribers? And I look at it and I go, what am I going to feel at 1 million? I'm going to want 2 million. I'm going to want 3 million. I'm going to want deals. I'm going to want advertisement contracts. I'm going to want all this stuff for what? For support of my family? Okay, great. But when I die, what's going to happen to it? So see, the point is, just like this young man talked about the 16th second in life, I truly believe that my podcast, that my YouTube videos, that this ministry that to some might seem crazy, and to some they might make fun of me, and that's fine. But instead of the 16th second, I look at it in my life as the 16th view, or the 16th listen to, or however you want to put it. Because you see, at 16 views, I understood that there's a purpose behind everything we do. And yeah, I think I knew this beforehand, obviously. And I had remembered it, and I had understood it, or at least tried to understand it. Wasn't until I could apply it and even apply my life verse, which is Philippians 1:21, which says, for me to live as Christ, to die as gain. So I shouldn't pick and choose when I live for Christ. I shouldn't decide when I want to honor Christ and when I want to make everything about Ben. It should be a daily action. It should be a daily walk in Christ. And so whether that's for me editing videos for Word of Life, whether it's me editing my own videos, creating content, releasing podcast episodes, releasing Friday recaps, whatever it is, I need to do it for God's glory. But it doesn't just stop there. It's a lifestyle. So I challenge you all. It's a lifestyle. So that means whether you're a teacher, whether you're a businessman, whether you're a businesswoman, whether you're, a missionary, whatever you do, it needs to be a lifestyle. In your relationships, I know for myself with Rebecca, I need to lead, but I need to follow Christ. I need to honor him. So that relation needs to reflect Christ. But at the end of the day, and as I look at the 16th view, or the 16th second, or however you want to put it, I'm thinking about everything that I've done in my life, the sports I've played, the things I've done, the people I've been around. I tend to ponder and ask the question, have I truly always lived out for that 16th, 17th, 18th second? Or have I just stopped at the 15 seconds and gone, what happened? So why do I keep making videos? Why do I keep making podcast episodes? To some, it might seem crazy, and I've been told that. And at times it can be hard to make videos, spend 2 hours editing a video or, you know, putting together a short film like 200 Days in Hungary and to see, 80, 90 people watch it. And it's very easy at that moment in time to look at those and be so discouraged, so distraught. But then I'm reminded of how each view could mean someone learned more about Christ or saw a difference in my life and they want to know more. So just as, let's say, you enjoy playing golf with your friends, go to the golf course, live like Christ. Because you never know who's watching. You never know who's pondering, who's struggling in life. I hear all the time people struggling to want to live in this 2020 year, struggling to feel a purpose in life. You should live with that purpose. I should live with that purpose. Yeah. To some, we might seem like we have ordinary jobs. Maybe you're, just doing something you enjoy doing. Well, then do it for glory of God. I know you might be like, Ben, that's so cliche. Well, yeah, it's cliche because it's true. We need to do everything we can to glorify God. There's another gnat. Ugh. Sorry. I have a gnat issue, I guess. We need to do everything for the glory of God. I'm going to kill this gnat. I'm going to kill it if it comes back over here. I'm so sorry. I'm getting distracted today on the podcast, but yes, we need to do everything for the glory of God. And so with that, I want to challenge you all. I really do. And I know that maybe there's only a couple people listening to this now, and maybe you're listening to this like 5 years in the future. If my podcast is still available in 5 years, I don't know. Maybe you are in 5 years. It's still relevant. I'm sure of it. Obviously, I'm not talking right now at that moment in time. Anyways, it's still relevant. That's the purpose of that statement. And I can tell you that the God that I serve is the same God that you serve. And if you don't know that God that I'm talking about, then please talk to me. But I really want us to look at our lives. I want us to look at what we enjoy, our hobbies, because I think a lot of times we think about, well, yeah, we're going to do our job for the glory of God, right? Because my job's not, well, I guess it is video editing now, but necessarily my job's not doing the Bowden experience, right? This is something that I enjoy doing. I would love for it to become a business one day. I would love for it to become bigger. Right now, it's just a hobby. It's something I enjoy doing. So that's my challenge to you all is what's a hobby you enjoy doing? What's something that you do that multiple people will see you doing? Are you doing it for the glory of God, or has it just become this part of life? This just thing you do. It doesn't really matter what people think. Because at the end of the day, if you're just doing something, but you're not trying to show Christ, then you're really failing at what God calls us to do. God calls us to live out the gospel. I was taught that in college. I've seen it here is I need to live out the gospel, not just as a missionary, but as just a person who follows Christ. That's what we need to do. So my thing for you is this: don't give up on your passion. It might get discouraging. It might get frustrating. I know for me, doing this can get frustrating. It can get upsetting at times. Feel like no one cares about what you do. But don't give up on your passion. Secondly, live for that 16th view of the 16th second. Don't forget about it. Yeah, it might feel amazing in the first 15 views or first 15 seconds in a case. There will always be that 16th, 17th, 18th view. And those are mindsetters. Those are what can create that mindset you live in. Don't waste those because you think that what you're doing is the greatest thing. Because I can tell you there's going to be a moment in time when you look back and you regret not living for that 16th view, that 16th second. You're going to be like that one guy, the young man I was talking about. You don't want to be your 40 years old and then you have wasted so much time with your family, with your friends, because you've been so focused on yourself. There's times where I realize that I'm heading down that road at times. There's times where I realize, whoa, I got to slow down. I got to refocus. I challenge you to refocus where your life is. Refocus your mindset. Because at the end of the day, I don't want Ben Bowden to be shown in this world. I want Jesus Christ to be shown through Ben Bowden. For you, whatever you do, teach, work, a hobby, going to church, whatever you're doing and whatever you enjoy doing, have God flow through that work. Allow the word of God to really flow through your veins. So when someone comes up and asks you and says, hey, why do you do what you do? Why are you still doing this? Doesn't seem like anybody cares. And you can say, because one person cares. And that's God. It's the only thing only thing that matters is to honor him. And so I just wanted to, I know it's a little, I guess, different. It's more of a challenge episode of the podcast, but I hope you have been challenged. I hope you've been encouraged. And so, yeah. And so with this, I just want to finish up by just saying, one, thank you so much for just your prayers, your support of me being over here, and also for your support of me doing this hobby that I love, for you maybe even listening or watching. I know it can get kind of boring sometimes, but I really do appreciate it. Secondly, I want to challenge you to live out your passion for Christ. Whatever you love doing, do it with Christ in mind and do it for the gospel. And so if you've enjoyed this episode of the podcast, go ahead and favorite it. Make sure on Spotify or on Apple Podcasts, you just kind of put it there. I don't even know. I should really research this. I really should. But, put it on the homepage thing, whatever. I think you favorite it, you star it. I don't remember what it is. Anyways, just do that. That's what I meant to say. And if you're watching on YouTube, click that thumbs up button, hit that subscribe button, and hit that notification bell to get updates, to get, I guess, new videos, things that come out. I mean, I'm coming out with videos, well, not that often right now, and who knows when, but I'm coming out with at least 2 videos a week. So for sure, you'll be able to see those. You'll see what's going on here in Hungary, and hopefully you'll be encouraged as well. And so once again, I want to remind you of this, that we serve an amazing God, that he is faithful, and we can trust him. And as always, we'll talk next time.